Alright guys, I haven't seen any videos on YouTube about this, and 98 Honda Civic. This is going to be a map sensor test, and it's also going to be a replacement when we're done with this. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you what I've got, what the symptoms are of the car. I'll start it up. So we've got a real rough idle right now. If you come down close here, you can see that my check engine light is on. Now that check engine light is indication, obviously you have something wrong with the car. So I broke out my Actron computer scanner, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the codes. So I'm reading the code right now. It takes a couple seconds for it to read. Bear with me. Okay, it comes up and it says my codes. When I hit enter, it's saying my map, borrow circuit, high input, and what that's saying is that the voltage going back to the computer is getting a higher value than what it should be. The voltage going to the map sensor usually is about 5 volts, so it wants to see a lower voltage than 5 volts. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the car off. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and erase it first. So I'm going to erase the code. Come down here and see the light there. Keep your eye on that light. When I hit erase code, it'll go away, and then it'll come right back probably. It's erasing it. It's gone. Came right back. So we know we got a problem. We just can't erase the code and replace it. So we're going to turn the car off. Leave my computer there. What we're going to do is we're going to locate our map sensor here. This is the map sensor. You got 3 wires. You have a ground. You have an input wire of 5 volts, and you have the output wire, which goes back to the computer, which should be a lower voltage than the 5 volts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this and make sure we have the proper voltage coming in. So what you want to do is you want to disconnect this first, then go back into your car, and you want to turn the ignition on but not the engine. Key on, ignition, key on, engine off. Now once you have that, you want to get your meter out. Take your meter, set it to DC volts. What we're going to do is we're going to check the voltage coming in. If you look at the wires you have here, your center wire is going to be your ground. The orange and red on a 98 is going to be your input voltage. So what we're looking at is we put your red lead onto there and ground out your other lead. We have 5 volts coming in, so that's showing that the computer is putting out 5 volts, which it should. Now what we want to do is we want to check off this other one here and see what kind of voltage is on it. It's saying about 4.79, and that's fine. What we want to do now is we want to switch over to our continuity tester. This should beep. That lets you know you have continuity. We're going to go through that center terminal, and we're going to go to ground. We hear a beep. We've got continuity, as we should. That's our ground wire. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and pull this off, and we'll test it. There's 2 screws on this. Pull these 2 screws off. Try not to lose them. And this is your map sensor. Now this map sensor should change voltage with the varying vacuum that goes inside of here. So what I've got is I've got my vacuum pump. We're going to hook this vacuum pump right up to the bottom of that map sensor. Now what we're going to do is switch back to our voltage, DC volts. We're going to hook up our ground, and we're going to find the signal wire The signal wire is the green and red wire. What we're going to do is put our probe in there. Some people use these T-pins. You can get them at Walmart in the sewing section. And what they do is they slide them in there and then they clip their alligator clip to it. Well, these are a little bit bigger than your normal ones, so I've got a little area where I can just put my needle in there from my tester there. Now I've got 5 volts coming through. Now what we're looking for is, as I pump this up, we're looking for this voltage to drop. I'm pumping it up. I've got 25 inches of vacuum. Now if you look at the meter there, I still have 5 volts going through. So what that's telling me is that this map sensor is not doing anything. It should be a varying voltage. So what we're going to do is we're going to bleed that off, disconnect that, take this out. Now one thing you can do is you can spray this with some map sensor cleaner. I think CRC makes it. But I'm not seeing anything, so I don't think this can be cleaned. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this. Right here, I have a new one. But before we put it on, we're going to check it. Check it to make sure it works properly. It's not a cheap item. This is an aftermarket, about 75 bucks. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug it in. And we're going to do the same test we just did with the other map sensor. Put our vacuum line on it. We've got our meter set up to DC voltage. We're going to come down here where we have our green and red wire. We're going to check the voltage. You can see right now it's less than 5 volts. Now as I pump this up, for every 5 inches of vacuum we should see about a 1 volt drop. So there's 5 inches there. Let's see here. It's not a 1 volt drop, but it is showing a drop. Okay, now we're up to 10 inches vacuum, which showed a little bit more of a drop. 15 inches of vacuum, but it looks like it's about a half a volt drop every time. 20 inches of vacuum, we're down to 1 volt. And as high as I can get this thing is about not quite 25, but we're just below a volt, about 0.7 volts. So that's letting me know that this map sensor is actually doing something opposed to the other one. The other one wasn't doing anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop out this this O-ring, and we're going to replace it with the new one. And I'm doing this because I didn't see any videos on YouTube that actually showed any type of diagnostics for this. I mean, I've seen a bunch of different cars. Nobody really shows how to really check it real easy. Now there's other things that could cause this to malfunction. You could have a vacuum leak. You could have some other issues, cracked manifold, stuff like that. But my particular case, it looks like it's just the map sensor. So you make sure you swap out that O-ring with the new one. Get your map sensor in there nice and square. Everything all hooked up. Don't get carried away, tighten it down. You can break this. And they're not cheap. Make sure your connection's good. So now that we've replaced that, what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and start the car back up and see if we can get rid of this code. Okay, the map sensor is replaced, and we're going to go ahead and start the car. Car sounds better already. We still have this code on here, this check engine light. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and erase that with our handheld scanner, and I'm going to hold that in, hold it in again. It should get rid of the light up here. Light's gone. Look at that. It's still gone. So this job is done. And that's basically how you change your map sensor on a '98 Honda Civic. I hope I can help some guys out. I know I had to do my research on it, so hopefully this will help some other guys and you get your car back on the road. It wasn't a cheap fix, about $75. So you got to have a handheld vacuum pump, Phillips head screwdriver, meter, and you're good to go. So hopefully this helps you guys out. See you later. Bye.